Okay, I want to get into something that's called the end of days, which a lot of people have confused, misinterpreted about what it actually means. End of days doesn't actually mean end of the world. I'm going to be getting into a little bit of mysticism here on what Kabbalah says. Basically, the end of days, it's called the end of days for a reason. It's a period of time that's going to transcend the boundaries of time, which is a secret. I'm not going to get into that, but it does not mean the end of days. It does not mean the end of the world. It's a period of time where lots of things are going to be going on before the coming of the Messiah, of course. What I want to teach, basically, that'll basically set a big record straight, is what Kabbalah says, by the way. Kabbalah says that there are 7 worlds in total that are created in creation. Right now we're in the 4th world. Now, the first one is the beginning at the lowest point. Each world afterwards is a higher point. So, Kabbalah teaches each world has 7,000 years. And it expires. Then there's a period of time where you might say there's nothing, which is the actual fact, where there's nothing going on. And then there's the next world created, which was the 2nd world. 7,000 years, period of nothingness, period of time. 3rd world, 7,000 years. And believe it or not, from what I know, lots of us have failed massively in the past worlds. Now, I'm going to get into why there's 7 worlds in total created. But basically now we're in the 4th world. Now, the mission of all of creation really is to reach your full potential and to basically become like God in the respect. Kind of like, think of the example, God created man in his image, right? Let's say God's going to create man inside of the confines of a limited space of a bottle, for example. Now, that's the example. Let's make believe God creates man in this little limited space, a bottle. Boom. That's what it means, man in his image. So, all of creation's goal is, in its own respect, in its own right, in its own mission, its own potential, is to be like God that's reaching its full potential. Now, the period of the world is supposed to reach 6,000 years. Then God recreates it for the last 1,000 years to be spiritual, where it's going to be very beautiful, like in the 4th world. In this world, no wicked people, no nothing like that. It's going to be very, very nice. I'm not going to get into that. Now, that's what let's say the Torah speaks of, a person having life in the world to come and certain people having no life in the world to come. Kind of like Kabbalists in Israel who don't want to teach Kabbalah Masid, and they know it, just like the example the Gemara says of a family who knew a certain recipe to the temple, and it says they have no life in the world to come because they never taught it. So it's a good example. Now, why so many worlds? Because so many worlds are needed for people to rectify themselves, to get all of their evil out, to get it all out, you know. And by the way, there are going to be many people who are not going to be having life in the 5th world. We're in the 4th world now. There are going to be many people from the 4th world who are not going to have life in the 6th world. There are going to be people who have life in the 5th world and no life in the 6th world, or no life in the 5th and life in the 6th. And by the way, in the past 3 worlds, from what I know, is there are many that didn't have life in the 2nd, 3rd, and don't have life in this one, and are not going to have life in the 5th, 6th. But all of creation, everybody is going to have life in the 7th world. There's going to be massively developed, higher holiness, much more higher imaginable than like now. Not even light years could describe it. And the 7th world, that's where everybody, all of creation, reaches their full potential. Yes, all the worst murderers, worst people, throughout all worlds, throughout all time, or whatever, will reach their potential, and it's going to be much more worse than all the fighting and wars or mischief that there is in this and in the past 3 worlds. But the whole point of 7 worlds, 7,000 years each, is everybody finally getting it all out, realizing at the end, you know, all of us are a part of God, and nobody meant at that point anything like, you know, when they find out what life is all about, why God created all 7 worlds. Now there's a different reason why God created worlds and created us. It's something very deep to get into, which I'm not going into right now. But basically, this is what's going to happen. Now what happens is the question, you reach the 7th world, bam, 6,000 years, 1,000 years left, God recreates the world. World of creation lives in perfection to the max on a made level. With God as one, everybody happy. What happens after that? After that, the whole time has been a preparation for all of us to live right, to try to strive and be as perfect as God is by bringing the best out of yourselves as to what your potential is, reaching your full potential. And that's why all of this is here. After 7,000 years in the 7th world, and it's all said and done, what's after that? Afterwards, all of us, all of creation, inside of God, happily ever after. That's something that everybody would need to know about. So that's basically that. So, not to be disregarded to whoever is wicked, evil in today's days, because all of us, everybody has a mission to complete. All of creation, and anybody, a wicked man, whoever fails fully, their mission is left on everybody else to handle, to fix, to rectify, so that all this can progress. So there's mysticism for you. Which is why it's important for so-called Jewish leaders, especially in so-called spirituality, to teach the Torah that's relevant today, because we're living in the day and age and the generation of the Exodus, of all kinds of proofs found, Bible, all kinds of proofs found, what day and age we're living. We're living in a time before the coming of the Mashiach, and that's why it's important to teach what's more pliable, because the Torah does say, like it does in the Talmud, that you learn and you perform. And I'm going to tell you something. All of the fake rabbis, not all rabbis, the fake rabbis, who purposely misled everybody and prevented the beauty of life from coming out, and all the wicked people especially, who prevented the beauty of what life is about from coming out and manifesting itself, and have went as low as it can go, as they can go, who have ruined seeing what will be seen after redemption in the future, especially in this last 1,000 years in this world. They're not going to have life in the world to come, as far as from what I learned in the Torah. So that's why people really need to change. Not change you can believe in, but righteous change. So this one's to God. Ain't old Milvado. There's nothing besides God. To all the best, and to business in this world. Taking care of the Erev Rav. 1.